Now, how will you test a CMS application like Magento, Shopify if the endpoints are not explored? Simply two things I will do. Check from the UI, like enter the values into the text boxes and hit and enter and save, and that value should be getting saved into the DB. Or simply open the network tab as I did over here, and I can inspect it and just find out what is the curl over here. So we can do that. What will happen when you pass an extra value in the body of the REST APIs? So this is one of the, you can say, a tricky question which can be asked. So yeah, going over here, this is post API which is there, and tester, right? This tester is not a mandatory we can field over here. This is an extra field, not a mandatory. This is an extra field which is over here. If I pass over here and if I still hit the enter, books site, sorry, my bad, books. Yeah, as you can see, the API, the REST API simply ignores the body, which is the key value pair, which is not present. It will simply ignore it. So one thing we can check over here. You are told to write an API test, but the developer has not given you the endpoint. How will you design the test? Use mocks, man. Use mocks. Mocks are like, you can say, predefined response or contract. You will keep that. You start a wire mock server and you just hit the endpoint and you get a response back. So, and that test you need to integrate with the CI, and once the developer finishes it, so with the regression plus this test, the developer will give the earlier feedback. So that way we minimize the time for test and the developer will gain the confidence for this. How do you ensure backward compatibility while deployments, right? So simple thing, if there is an old front end and the new backend is going, and the old front end, right, is not requesting any of the new resources from the backend, then it's safe to go. So that way we make sure that the backward compatibility is tested. What not to test? Basically third-party APIs, you just need to mock them. That's it. Because as you can see, right, this is Unicommerce. So we were doing Unicommerce integration with our fan code, right? Over here, after 8 p.m., we used to test and we used to test the APIs, right? We were giving the sandbox environment and we used to test it. And after 8 p.m., right, then it used to give us 500. Then we checked with them and they told this is, like, you can say, they you can say they downscale the testing servers after 8 p.m. because of cost savings, right? Literally cost savings. So instead of that, I just mocked the APIs and it was working fine. What will you do when there is no documentation available for an API endpoint? You need to do the exploratory testing. You need to check the inspect and network tab, find out the API request, or use third-party tools like Charles, Bursuit to intercept the request, and then you can play with it. How will you use AI in API testing? For creating test data, mock data, test suggestions, log summarization, anomaly detection. For that, you can use AI in API testing. Ship left testing. If your manager is most of the senior guys, right, over here, your hiring manager will definitely love this question. Comment it out on the YouTube channel if you want a separate dedicated video on how to do shift left testing. I have you can say a topic in mind, and we used to do it, and we got an award for the DevOps as well. We implemented shift left strategies in our. So yeah, move the testing as early as possible. Don't wait for the front end guys. Like many of the things that I asked, took a lot of interviews from the students. So they were like, once the front end is done, back end is done, then we will test it and then we will move to production. Then we log bugs. No, this is completely BS over here, right? No, you don't need to do that. We need to write a unit test or API test beforehand, mock the responses, mock the requests which are there, and make sure you go through the test. Whenever the backend guys develop a test, right, you need to run the test. So the backend guy will get the feedback earlier and we can ship faster with quality and don't duplicate the efforts. So whatever the unit test the backend guy has written, we will check that and we'll write an API test on that. So we don't duplicate the efforts over here. Now one question over there, small question, right? Are these two responses, sorry for my grammatical mistake, are these two responses the same? Look closely, answer in the comments. So as you can see, author, genre, published, description, ISBN, ratings and pages. And over here, as you can see, this. Just tell me in the comment section whether this two API request body is same or not.